Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for getting latest updated video. Hello friends, my name is Bhavesh Parmar, and in today's session we are going to see some advanced SQL concepts which is related with relational database management system, that is called RDBMS. But before starting our today's session, let me take the short review of our previous session, means which thing we have discussed, which concepts we have done in our previous video. So generally guys, in previous video we have discussed data types used in DBMS. So what is the use of data types? So data types gives you, or it provides help to create various table. So by using this table we can store different kinds of information within it. So in this way, if we club all these tables together, so it will form a complete database. Thereafter guys, we focused on data model. Then what is the role of data model? Then in that specially we have discussed how relational model is more popular in DBMS. Thereafter we have focused one of the most important characteristics, that is called transaction properties. So these transaction properties based on 4 different characteristics. So these characteristics are called ACID characteristics, or you may also say that acid characteristics. So it is a short form, ACID. A stands for atomicity, which gives you the assurity whether your transaction or the operation it is properly performed or not. So if not, then it gets rollback. Okay, thereafter C stands for consistency. So it gives the assurity whether whatever the changes we have done in the database, whether it is successfully done or not. Thereafter I stands for isolation, whether the data is independently accessed to the end user with all kinds of 100% transparency. Then the last characteristic, that is D stands for durability. It ensures that the result or effect of committed transaction in case of a system failure. I mean, suppose if we are doing something and unfortunately the system get crashed, or there is a problem in database, so whether it performs properly or not, whether your operation is done or not, so it is controlled by durability. So guys, in today's session we are going to see the introduction of RDBMS. So guys, there are some limitations with DBMS. So it is a single user, but in case of RDBMS we have no any kind of restrictions, and we can also store a large amount of database with high accuracy and high security. So guys, without wasting of our time, let me start our today's session. So first of all, we discussed what do you mean by RDBMS. So guys, RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. So generally it consists of collection of interrelated data. Now what do you mean by interrelated data? So if we have information which is stored in different table, so if we wish to show the relation between these tables by some key features, so it is possible with the help of RDBMS. So generally guys, what we are trying to do in RDBMS, maximum data stored in tabular form, that is table form. So in short, table consists of so many things, that is called rows and columns. So in technical word, row is called record and column is represented by field. So that we will discuss in our next slide. So now guys, the important thing related to database concept is what? Table. So what do you mean by table? A table is nothing but collection of various records. So generally what happen, a table consists of row as well as column. But in case of database point of view, we termed row as a record. So all the data stored within that table in row wise form, that we call in record form. So we can easily access that data in row wise manner. So database designer decides the name of table and title of column. Say for example, suppose if we have a student information of 5 different students. So I want to store the information of these 5 students in table form. So which columns we are generally considered? So first of all, serial number. Thereafter, second column we give the heading roll number. In third column, name of that student. Thereafter, standard. Thereafter, stream, contact number, date of birth. So these are the various fields, means columns, which we are going to be considered within that table. So finally we are going to club all these fields together, so it will make a complete record. And if we club all the records together, it will form a table. Is that clear? Now this is the thing related with table. Now every table consists of number of columns, but in case of database, a table consists of information which is stored under different heading called as field or column. So in short, what we can say that a table consists of rows as well as column. So every column is termed as a field. So by giving suitable title to that particular column, so the end user can easily identify what the information is related about that table. So it is very easy to identify. Each field or column has an individual name. Two columns cannot have same name. So it almost reduces the confusion between database and user. So we can't use roll number column, again roll number column, or name column, again name column. So it is quite problematic to access, or we can say that retrieving the data. So in short, what we have to remember, every column within a table is called field, and every field has unique title. So within that, under that title, we can store the different data. Now guys, next important thing is what? Record. So all columns in a table makes a row. Each row contain information of individual topic. So guys, generally which thing we are going to consider, or how can we make the definition of record? A record is collection of fields. So that fields may be related with different elements. So whenever we are going to club all these fields together, so it will make a complete record. So guys, whatever the information we have, we are going to store in a form of records. And if we club all the records together, so it will make a complete table. And suppose if we make number of tables which are interrelated with each other, so it will form a complete database. So in this way, they are interrelated with each other. But on which basis they are linked with each other? So there is a special word called key. A column or a combination of column which can be used to identify one or more rows in a table called a key of table. So generally we used the word row. So instead of using word row, we can also use word record, or we can also say that tuple. So there are 3 different name assigned for row, that is row, then record and tuple. So what is the role of key within a table? So say for example, we have information of 5 different students. So that table consists of, suppose, 3 columns: roll number, name and percentage. So we know that roll number is a unique data element. That means it should not be duplicate or it should not be blank, but there might be a possibility of same name. Percentage may be scored by the student, they may be same. So if we see that table, then we have three fields, that is roll number, name of student and percentage. So how can we access that information from the table? So let me see that. Please show me the details of roll number 3 student. So what we are trying to do, we just follow roll number column and we just try to put and access the information of roll number 3. But suppose if we say that please access the student information whose name is ABC. So there might be a possibility, there might be a chance of duplicate or multiple names of ABC students. So in that case, what it will try to show you, it will give you the information of ABC student which is available in the list. So there might be a chance of 2 students or 3 students or multiple students that having same kind of data. So it is called what? A key. So generally key is a main feature through which we can access or we can interact with a database. So guys, there are two different types of key. Actually there are three different types of keys are there, but just generally from your 11th standard point of view, we have to just focus on two types of key. The first name of key is called primary key, another type of key is called foreign key, and there is one more key is called super key. So these keys are used to make or to establish a relationship between various tables. So guys, let me focus on first key, that is called primary key. So primary key is nothing but unique identification key, or we can say that information within a row which cannot be duplicate or which cannot be null, or we can say that empty. So when we assign a primary key to a particular column, it should be a unique data element. Means it should not be duplicate or it should not be blank. So guys, let me take the same example of student database. So now I have information of student, near about 100 student information I have stored within that table. So table consists of number of columns that we call field. So suppose we have field like roll number, name of student, percentage, date of birth and their contact number. So we see that date of birth may be same, name may be same, there might be same name students, multiple students having same name, there might be a possibility, even though percentage may be same got by many students. But if we see that particular table carefully, we see that roll number as well as contact number, so these are the unique entries. So through that entry we can easily find out, means there are no any duplicate number is there, so we can assign roll number column or contact number column as a primary key. So it helps to establish the relationship between table. Now guys, next key is called a foreign key. So foreign key, it is a field or collection of fields in a one table that refers to the primary key in another table. So what it means? So if we have two different table and if we are trying to assign a primary key means what? Unique identification information assigned to that particular column, and if we use that primary key relation with different another table, then it is termed a foreign key. Means in short, what we are trying to do, we have two tables, both tables consist of primary key, But if we used first table primary key and we are used as a reference within another table, then that key is called a foreign key. So I repeat guys, primary key is nothing but unique identification key which cannot be duplicate or empty. And if we try to maintain the relationship between multiple tables, then if we use a table primary key in table 2, so that primary key is termed as a foreign key. So it is quite difficult to understand, but from your point of view, if you read these 2 or 3 times, so you will get more and more clear idea. So guys, on your screen you have seen one table. So that table consists of 5 different columns and 5 different rows. So the bold character represents that particular title. So the horizontal information stored within a table is called a row, or we can say that record, or we have also used one another word called tuple. And if we see the vertical information, so it is called column, or we can say that a field. So we have just only information about, we have insert only 4 different records. Is that clear? So we can also store multiple records within a table. So in this way we can store multiple columns also. So in this example we have only 4 columns. So if we wish to add few more columns, still database will give you the permission to add multiple columns with multiple records. Now guys, we are going to focus on relationship in database. So how can we create or how can we establish the relationship between multiple tables? That I will show you with one example. So first of all, relationship link data from individual table to increase the usefulness of the database. So how it provides and how it shows the precious or important data, that we will see by taking one example. So with that example, all the concepts get easily clear to you. A relationship in the context of database is a situation that exists between two relational database table. So guys, how can we establish the relationship between 2 or more tables? So by assigning a key. So what do you mean by key? A key is a unique identification. So through that we can access a particular record. So just like our two-wheeler key, or four-wheeler key, we know that if we have same model vehicles, but we know that every model has its own unique key. So by operating that key we can use that vehicle. So the same thing is here. If we want to access a particular data from a table, we should take a help of a key. So I will give you one example. So that's why how we can going to maintain a relationship between multiple tables. So suppose if I have a table information, suppose if I have table name ABC table, so that table consists of suppose 5 rows information. I have another table XYZ, it also consists of information. So how can I interlinked this table, or how can we establish the relation between these two tables? So on which technique we used? So we used primary key concept as well as foreign key concept to establish the relationship between these two tables. So on your screen one example is also there, employee details, employee ID. So how we can use employee ID as a primary key and how it is used or referred in another table as a foreign key. So this example is display on your screen. Now guys, we are going to focus how many types of relationships are there. So there are general 3 different types of relationships. So there are three types of relationship in relational database design, that is called RDBMS. So which are these three relationship? So first one is called one-to-one relationship, another is called one-to-many relationship, or we can say that many-to-one relationship, and the last and the final is called many-to-many relationship. So guys, we are just going to explain one by one. So first of all, we are going to focus one-to-one relationship. In one-to-one relationship, one record in a table is associated with one and only one record in another table. For example, in a company database, each employee has only one person ID, and each passport ID is assigned to one person. Means, say for example, this is one example. I will explain you with some different example. So let me take the example of student table again. So I have information of all information technology students which is studying in 11th standard. So I have 50 student information. So every student has a unique roll number, means one student, one roll number. So we can't assign multiple roll number to the same student. So this is called what? One-to-one relationship. Or we can also say that every person has a unique blood group, means one person, one blood group. So we can say that one-to-one relationship. So this diagram represents, we have two different table, person and passport detail. So we know that every person has a unique passport number, or we can say that every person has a unique driving license number, or every student has a unique identity card number, so which cannot be duplicate or empty. So with this example, we can say that how one-to-one relationship established in RDBMS table. Now guys, we are going to focus on another relationship called one-to-many, or we can also say that many-to-one relationship. So in this case, this is the most common relationship type. In this type of relationship, a row in a table, city can have many matching row in a table customer, but a row in a table customer can have only one matching row in a table city. So guys, this they are providing this kind of example, but I will give you some different examples, so that's why you can easily understand how we can establish one to many relationship. So suppose if we have information of student table, and another we have 5 different tables, so that table consists of information about different subject. Suppose I have first table called student, in second table I have detail about subject, suppose physics, in third table chemistry, maths, biology, information technology. So for different subject we have different table. So how can we establish the student relationship with these tables? So that's why we can say that this is one to many or many to one relationship. So we can easily say that one student may offer many subjects, means that student also take physics, that student also have chemistry, maths, biology, information technology. So it is called what? One to many relationship, or we can say that many to one. So how can we say that vice versa? So many subject offered by a one student. So it is called which relationship? Many to one relationship. Is that clear guys? So now we are going to focus our third type of relationship called many to many relationship. So in case of many to many relationship, what happen? So we can interrelate data, or we can just try to maintain the relationship between multiple tables under many to many relationship. So guys, how can we do this? So let me take the example. I have example of suppose two tables. One table is called employee and another table is called suppose bank details. So how can we make the relationship in many to many relationship format? So we can say that many employees have many bank accounts which is situated in a city. So it is called what? Many to many relationship. Or if we take suppose different kind of example, so many student took admission at many private tuitions. So it is also called what? Many to many relationship. Is that clear? So many to many relationship occurs when multiple records in a tables are associated with multiple records in another table. So as I told you with example, so if we have table, so in that case what we are trying to do, we are try to associate multiple fields, we are trying to match with another table's multiple fields. So then and only then we can easily say that that relationship is under many to many relationship. Now guys, after discussing relationship that is one to one to many, many to many, we are going to focus a very powerful language that is called SQL. So SQL called structured query language. Query means what? It is a method or it is a statement so that we can ask to the database, and after asking the question to the database process on that question and it try to gives you or satisfy the answer to that particular question. So SQL is very powerful tool. We can say that it is a very powerful language which is widely used in RDBMS. So there are so many powerful softwares that supports SQL, and especially let me see some examples, that is MySQL, Base, Oracle, Sybase, Informix, Postgres and SQL Server widely uses SQL language. So what is the role of SQL? SQL is structured query language, which is a computer language for storing, manipulating, retrieving data stored within a database. So what is the role for SQL? Suppose if we have information stored in a table, so if we want to add some data within that table, if we try to modify some data, if we try to delete some data, so it is only and only possible with the help of SQL commands. Now guys, we see what is the use of SQL or what SQL can do for us. So by using SQL, we can create a new database, we can create new tables within a database. Thereafter, we can insert or we can add multiple records within a database. Thereafter, if we wish to access that data, so it will also helps to retrieve the data from a database. Then if we try to modify some data, so we can say that update a record in a database. Thereafter, if we remove the unwanted data within a database, so we can delete records from a database. We can execute queries against a database. So how can we say that against execute a query against a database? Means, say for example, if we have information of student, so that student information consists of roll number, name and percentage. So if I have information of 100 student, and suppose if I'm going to ask the question to the database, please display the roll number and name of those student who scored more than 85% marks. So what happened? We are going to perform operation on percentage column, and it just try to find out those student information who scored percentage more than 85. So suppose if there are only 2 students, then it will show you only information about 2 students only. But if they don't have, then you will get empty database or empty output. Thereafter, we can create views in a database. So we can also design multiple queries to ask the different kinds of questions to the database. So these are the basic things that SQL database helps us to the user. So we can also say that these are the advantages of SQLs. Now guys, we are going to focus SQL commands. So these SQL commands are categorized into 3 different forms. First one is called DDL, then next one is called DML, and at the end it is called DCL commands. So guys, these commands we are going to discuss one by one and how it is beneficial and how it works. So first of all, we are going to focus our first command called DDL, that is called data definition language. So DDL statements, or we can say that commands, are used to define and modify the database structure of your table, or we can say that schema. So generally this is another technical word represented for a particular table. So table, we can use the word schema. For row, we use the word record or a tuple. So when you execute a DDL statement, it takes effect immediately. So which kind of commands included by DDL, that we are going to be focused now. So generally, data definition language, that is called DDL commands, includes create a database, then creating a table, alter a table. Alter means what? If we try to modify some existing data, then it is called what? Which operation? Alter command operation. Thereafter, drop table or drop database. It means what? If we remove some unwanted data within a database, then it is called what? Drop table or drop database. That performs delete a table or delete a complete database. So these kinds of operations or commands come under DDL statement. Now guys, we are going to focus on our second SQL command, is called DML, data manipulation language commands. So data manipulation language statements or commands are used for managing data within a table. So what is the role of DDL statement? So whenever we are going to apply DDL statement on particular table, its effect shown immediately. But in case of DML, we are managing the data within the table. So this is the basic difference between DDL statement and DML statement. So it also includes some commands, and which commands are there and how they are useful, so that we are going to discuss right now. So generally 4 types of commands are controlled by data manipulation language. So the first command is called select command. So what is the role of select command? It extracts data from a table. Means we will get the particular information from that whole table. It will not show you all the information. We can select a particular information. Then next command is called update. So what is the role of update? Which is used to modify the existing information. And then next operation is called delete. So we know that delete operation deletes the data from given table. Then next operation is called what? Insert into. So what is the role of this operation? This operation is used to add some additional information within the table. So it is represented by which operation? Insert into operation, or we can say that insert into command. So these four commands are related with DML statement. Now guys, we are going to focus our last command called DCL. So now guys, DCL stands for data control language. So as the name suggests, data control language, so it is used to control user access within a database. So it is widely related with security issue. So it is also deal with rights and permissions of database access. So why this security issue occurs? So generally whenever we are trying to provide database access to multiple users, then in that there might be a possibility of misuse of data. So we can restrict the information, or we can restrict the access to that particular person. Say for example, let me take the example of bank. So bank consists of so many different departments. Say for example, loan department, fixed account department, then recurring account, then cash department, credit card department. So these different departments are there. So what actually the branch manager did, so they give you the access only related with their department. Means, if for example, if the employee works in loan department, they don't have access of fixed deposit department. So if we want to access that information from fixed deposit department, they need to send the request to the branch manager to allow the data access. So in this way we can restrict the data. So we can keep our data with more and more secured. So guys, in case of data control language, there are only two important commands, and these two commands will control the user during accessing the information from database. So the first command is called grant. So what do you mean by grant? So it allows, or it provides the permission, or it gives the privileges to the user to access the particular part within the database. So that permission is also restricted or limited by the administrator. So it is totally controlled by administrator. Now the second operation is called revoke. Revoke means what? It is totally a reverse thing. Grant means what? To allow. Or revoke means what? To take or to release the, or to remove the access or permission from a person, to remove access right or privileges on the database object. Means grant means what? We are giving the permission to do something. Revoke means to release or to remove the permission which is to be granted to that particular employee or person. So in this way we are going to discuss how SQL is important. I tell you again, SQL stands for structured query language, and that related with three different commands, that is DDL, DCL and DML. So the next point is our summary of this lesson. So we have discussed this introduction to DBMS lesson in three different videos. In that, first of all, we have discussed what do you mean by database, that is definition. Thereafter we have focused the difference between data and information. Thereafter we have seen that how to use database to creating, manipulating or accessing the information. Thereafter we have focused various application of database, means at various place how it play a very important role. Thereafter we have seen that the applications, or we can say that advantages of database, that is sharing of data, data integrity, security, consistency, recovery. Thereafter we have discussed data model, in that we have focused on relational model. Thereafter we have focused on transition characteristics, or we can say that transition properties, that is represented by ACID property, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. Thereafter guys, we have focused on RDBMS. RDBMS means Relational Database Management System, and how it is powerful or beneficial than DBMS, that we have discussed. Thereafter we have focused on relationship. So there are three different relationships we have discussed: one to one, one to many, many to many, with suitable example. And at the end guys, what we have discussed, so we have categorized SQL commands in three different states, that is DCL, DDL and DML. DDL stands for data definition language, DML stands for data manipulation language, and at the end DCL. DCL stands for data control language. So these commands are also included some powerful operations. So by using these commands, we can control or we can restrict the data access to the particular user. So guys, if you have any doubts, any complaints regarding this video, so please write down in our WhatsApp group. And one more thing guys, the notes related with this lesson are also uploaded with your WhatsApp group. So please write it down, these notes. And if you have still any problem, you can write down on our WhatsApp group. So guys, thanks for watching this video. So in next video, we will see with some different facts and things. Thank you guys.